So I want this class to be a little more interactive than what you might expect. So I'm sorry. I'll leave the door cracked in case anybody wants to run out. What do you think the purpose of it is?
The job interview.
Love. Anybody else? Okay, spot.
I did. Feel no
So she like dressed the part when she.
that attracts buyers to the listing.
Something else.
Sell the house. They're gonna gain more listings.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. I feel like open houses are always targeted towards buyers, but I try to do mine 50-50, seller and buyer. My goal with every open house is to pull at least 2 other pieces of business from it, whether it be another buyer or even someone in the neighborhood looking to see how I'm hosting the open house or how I'm marketing things. You never know what people's true intention is when they walk in the door. Okay, so here's some benefits of hosting an open house. Like we said, we mentioned some of the reasons why. For the seller, it increases exposure and creates competition among buyers for stronger offers. If they see their competition in person, it's innate to want to go at it harder. It also provides valuable feedback. When you guys are hosting open houses, do you actually ask for feedback? Whether that be in your sign-in sheet or just in conversation. If you aren't, you're missing a big. Because it's so much easier to talk to your seller about an overpriced listing when you have it documented that other agents or buyers agree with you. Because it's so easy to point the finger at the agent. For the agent, this is selfish, but open houses are for your business 9 times out of 10. There isn't a really good statistic proving that open houses are great for sellers, but there are great statistics to prove that they're good for the agent. So it generates new leads while showcasing the property's best features, demonstrates commitment to selling the home quickly and effectively. Like Jim said, it's an open interview. How do you market an open house? I'm gonna do like a little visual. If you guys can't read my handwriting, please let me know. So we have virtual or online options. Or we have physical or in person. And then from there, we have free. And then we have paid. So what are some online options to market an open house that are free? Any ideas?
Facebook groups.
Facebook groups. That. Any ideas? What about posting on social media? Has anyone ever posted their listing in a Facebook marketplace?
I've seen those.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of those recently.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more popular.
Yeah.
A while ago, they only let you do rentals. I think in the past 6 months, they've switched over to letting you do sales too. Facebook marketplace.
We done Facebook ads.
Yeah, so that'll be good for now.
Okay, yeah.
Or boosting your posts already from your Facebook posts. On Facebook, you can also create an event. I've done that for my open houses recently, and I've really loved being able to pour into having just a page focused on my own listing. So that way I can post nearby amenities, everything about the house, virtual walkthroughs, that kind of thing. So Facebook events are huge. And you can also boost your Facebook event. So you reach a higher audience. So let's think physical or in person. What are some free ways to market an open house that are either in person or physical?
Door knocking.
Yes. Yeah, directional signs. You think of anything else?
I hear a lot of people promote them at networking,
Yeah.
in-person networking.
The word I community boards. Anyone ever seen one of those in the beginning of a neighborhood? You can post all you want about local events and things like that. You can put a flyer in the community.
So you can door it too, that way you don't have to.
And then paid versions, direct mail. Anything else that we're missing? All right. So those are a few ways that you can market your listings. I think a lot of people get stuck in wondering what they should be doing and what they want to be doing. I think a lot of people think like, okay, I really like this, so I'm just gonna stick to this. But then skip these things too. I think when you host an open house, especially when it's for your own listing, you need to ask yourself the question of how am I earning my commission? Because you earn your commission by doing all of this. For me, there's 3 pieces of open house marketing. My big portion down here is going to be online advertising because you reach more people when you use online or virtual options. Then I like to pull in the neighborhood because I like to be what's called a neighborhood expert. Then from there, we can tap in the agent outreach. To me, each pillar plays a crucial role in maximizing the success of your open house events. So I'm going to explore each of these 3 options a little bit more in detail. Try to think quick the right way. Okay, online advertising. How to reach beyond the MLS to bring more buyers to your open house. So I think we can all agree that times have changed and we've moved way beyond just putting a sign in the front yard and opening the door for the 40 people that are coming into the open house. Online advertising is going to save you the time and sometimes money. Social posts or photo posts are all organic, so that means people interact with it without you having to spend money. High quality images of the property's best features capture the most attention. I know we've all looked through on the MLS and seen those listing photos that are clearly taken on someone's cell phone, and it shows all of the water bottles on someone's nightstand. Nothing drives me more crazy. So make sure you have quality images. Even if you're posting on or taking pictures on your phone, make sure they look good. I'd much prefer you guys hire out a photographer to do it, but if you have to save money, make sure they're good photos. Something personal with me. I hate when I look at listings and the first photo isn't of the house.
See, opposite.
Really?
So I actually had a very nice listing in Kennett Square, and it was confusing because the house looked like new construction because there's still new construction going on. Changed the photo to the kitchen and sold it day.
Oh.
Yeah.
For me,
Because-
it's see what
Yeah.
they're finding if
It was just crazy. Great. But I will say for the listing photos, for those who are worried about cost, there's a great company called Home Jab, who basically, I call it the Uber for photographers, and they're
Yeah.
rather cheap.
Yeah.
And I would highly recommend, I just got a listing and I took over, that's actually been like 3 or 4 months. They fired a previous agent. First thing I talked about when I went in there was your photos were garbage.
Yeah.
Point blank, they sucked. I got for professional photos done, and literally we sold the house in a week.
Yeah.
Home Jab,
Usually too, and it's
Yeah.
a lot easier than.
they're a lot, so to be honest with you, they're a lot better than some of the private companies. Because what Home Jab does is they hire local photographers, and then Home Jab does all the editing themselves.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the regulars that I have, he used to be a fashion runway model photographer in New York.
Yeah.
So he obviously knows what he's doing. So it's about, I've priced it out. It's about $100 to $150 cheaper than a lot of the big photographers around here. So
I've used the same photographer.
yeah, he's a trip.
Yeah.
He's a trip. And they do 7 days a week, anytime that you want. Just to give a little word of advice. Photos do matter.
Yeah. Virtual walkthroughs were huge during COVID. I think we should still be implementing them because you don't know what people's schedule. So there's some people that are looking at houses still in Delaware and they live in California.
Yeah.
So they want to see what the flow of the house is. I know for me, when I post listings on MLS, I try to give the feel that I'm walking through the house. But it's really hard to do that in individual photos, or if you only have 25, or the house wasn't ready in every single bedroom. You never know what the case is. But virtual walkthroughs, I think, are an amazing tool, even if you take a gimbal and do it yourself. Through Home Job, you can pay.
It also eliminates look-see lure too.
Yes. Neighborhood highlights. So this is something else that you can post on your social media. I know there's neighborhoods in this area, but there's some that have hiking trails nearby. There's some that have great restaurants or walkable community. Highlighting those amenities to showcase what the lifestyle is that you're selling. Does that make sense? There's also paid social media advertising. I'm not going to go too heavy into this and how to do it. I'm just going to tap on the ways that you. So you have boosted posts. So that basically just takes the photos of the listing or your coming soon post, and it extends it beyond your follower base. So you can pay for X amount a day, and it reaches 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, whatever your. Facebook ads are a little bit different because you can capture their full information. So you can get their phone number, you can get their email if they're looking to buy in the next 3 to 6 months, and a little bit about them. Event promotion, if you already have your Facebook event online, you can boost that as well to draw traffic to your open house.
Can I just make a suggestion? Sorry.
Yeah.
If you're going to do Facebook ads, do them through command.
Yep.
They work a lot. I've actually tested them side by side. Command ads will give you more results than if you do it right through. And it's so much easier through command.
I think there's an agreement with Keller Williams that they actually boost the algorithm. Yeah.
Yep. It goes as, so if you, let's say you're, David New, if you run a Facebook ad by itself, it's only through him. But if you do it through command, it goes through the whole network of Keller Williams. So it goes out to more people.
Yeah, and if you have questions about how to utilize command the right way and use those different tools, Chris Clausen is our new tech trainer.
And I think I'm doing a command ad.
Yeah.
Class soon.
Okay. The next pillar I'm going to talk about is neighborhood involvement. I try to get the neighborhood ready for the first listings. So I give the neighborhood a listing teaser. The second I post it is coming soon, I'm making everything to drop off to the neighborhood. So I'm letting them know that I'm the listing agent for the property that's going active in 2 weeks or whatever it may be. I also try to come from a place of value. I let them know when the open houses are scheduled, and if there is an issue, let's say someone's blocking their driveway, someone drove on their grass, call me, and I'll make sure that it's handled. So I build excitement by sharing a sneak peek of the property within the neighborhood. Everyone wants to know what their property value is, and the easiest way to do it is on Zillow. And we all know that that's about 20% inaccurate. So putting it in front of the neighborhood and saying, hey, look, your neighbor's selling for X amount, this directly correlates with what your house could sell for. Reach out to me if you want a proper valuation. Huge. It also engages with potential buyers. Wouldn't you love to pick your neighbor? I know I would. How I do it, I introduce myself, something I've already kind of touched upon. Highlight key features of the house, something that's a standout. If they updated their kitchen recently, it would be great. Like backyards, that kind of thing. And then I also leverage social media and flyers with this. Benefits of doing it: you establish trust as the go-to agent in that area. You're letting them know what's going on. You spark interest and inquiries before the home even goes active. And it's a touch point for possible listing leads in the future. I host a neighbors only preview an hour before my open house. So I invite the neighborhood. Sometimes that looks like paying for postage and sending it directly through the mail, or I might just door knock the neighborhood again and just give them an invitation. They can choose to show it away or they can choose to attend. At that neighbors only open house, I have 2 tables set up. One geared for sellers that has market valuations for the neighborhood, and then one geared for buyers. So maybe they have a family member that might be interested in the area. But my focus is getting more listings during that 1 hour time frame. Also, it keeps all of the looky-loos coming in that first hour, because I don't want them to get in the way of the actual buyers.
Or 5 minutes before.
Anybody have questions about that? Cool. All right, moving on. Directional signs. They say for about every 5 signs you place, you get 1 organic buyer. I really think it depends on where your listing is. If you're near a bigger road like Irwin Highway, you'll probably see higher numbers than 1 buyer. But place your directional signs strategically. Don't just shove them in like the neighbor's front yard because you're gonna lose signs or make somebody really mad. So make sure it's a neighborhood that allows signs to begin with. And my best advice is posting or putting them up under street signs or stop signs, that kind of thing, where people would look. And the bigger the better. Last but not least, we have agent outreach. So what do you think when you hear those words? Bueller?
Calling the people you know?
Yeah. Colin? Anybody else? MLS?
Yeah, I mean, your office, obviously.
Yeah. Something I like to tap into is reverse. There is a tab through the MLS at the bottom of your listing where you can generate a list of all of the agents that have buyers searching for a house that's similar to your listing. If you're hosting an open house for another agent, I recommend asking them for that list. So just a little bit more about reverse prospecting. It identifies interested agents. You can use the MLS to mass email all of them. If you're using the MLS to do that, you cannot talk about your commission. But if you use AI to pull the emails from that list, you can mass email them yourself and let them know what commission is being offered. I've actually had 2 houses go under contract with buyers that stopped by my open house because I reached out to their agent. Times are changing. Time to tap into AI.
When you say leverage AI to contact info, whose contact info are you
I'm
using?
using the agents.
So
So
where do you get the emails for all the agents?
for reverse prospecting on
Okay.
MLS. So I pull, copy and paste it into ChatGPT or your favorite AI, and I have them create a list of all emails and remove all other contact information. And then through command, you can email all of them,
Yeah.
or you can just copy and paste it into your own email. In that email, I normally say, hey, look, there's an open house at 123 Main Street this weekend. I see you might have a buyer that's interested. All buyer agency agreements will be recognized. We're also offering X commission for your effort if the seller chooses to.
Yeah. This was first.
As KW Empower agents, we have access to 1,200 agents in our database. If you're not tapping into that value, you're doing something wrong and you're doing your seller a disservice. So I recommend that you join all the Facebook groups you can for KW and definitely join the KW Empower Facebook group. There's referrals listed in there. You never know who has a buyer that might be interested in Delaware, might be interested in Maryland, might be interested in PA. So posting in those groups is one of my favorite things to do. So you'll probably get like if you see me in there. Our director of first impressions, Rebecca, she also posts on our agent Instagram account if you have listings or if you're posting open houses. So you can send that information to her. So then she can post on her social media and possibly reach even more people.
Just in general.
Yeah.
So like all of this that you're talking about for, for listings, we do a lot of rentals,
Okay.
and just like for the group, we weren't having a lot of luck doing open houses for rentals. I mean, we were kind of doing everything that we were, that you're talking about, but we weren't getting a lot of people showing up. And then I shut it down because I had, somebody come and was not, he's taking his shirt off. So I shut it down and left.
Yeah.
And so we were, yeah. So bye. It's time to go.
Yeah.
And so we just shut it down and we quit doing open houses for the rentals and do them by appointment now. And we have got a lot. So is the philosophy different for rentals or in anybody else's experience, or is this just Newcastle County?
So it's funny because I know an agent who does a lot of rentals and he gets a ton of leads, open houses through rentals.
We just weren't having a good turnout as far as actually ones that we would want as leads. Like I don't know.
What's
So
time frame?
we tried everything. I mean, we were doing weekends, we were doing during the week and the evenings, whatever but it's just I don't know. I don't know if it was the area or like if something we were doing was wrong. I don't know. We just
How far in advance are you marketing your?
at least a week.
We usually do too, and I'll show you what my.
Can you do rental? Can you do? You can put an open house in rental listing, right? So it shows up on the MLS.
Oh yeah, that's what we were
Okay.
what it was attracting because what we were getting was
So I'll show you guys my timeline for marketing. I'm trying to write all these so it doesn't get super confusing. So what I do is whenever I have a listing, I tell them I need 2 to 3 weeks to effectively market it before it goes active. So in that 2-week time frame, that's when I'm doing my, but that's when I'm doing my Facebook ads, Facebook events.
No, you have that active on the market, correct? Or coming soon?
Yes. So that's the same day that I'm putting it as. Yep, so I'm doing Facebook ads, Facebook events. I'm also doing my listing teasers to the neighborhood.
I'm sorry, Caroline, did you say you do coming soon like 2 weeks before the?
You can actually do coming soon as long as you want now.
Yeah, it used to be 21
You
days. Now I can do it
can do it.
a year.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So 2 weeks I'm doing Facebook ads, Facebook events, listing teasers. I also have the open house already confirmed. Then if I'm doing direct mail to invite my neighborhood, I'm going to do that 1.5 weeks in advance. So direct invitation. Then if I'm dropping by the invitation, I'm dropping off the invitation 1 week. And then down here, open house. And then 3 days, agent. Agent outreach. So again, for agent outreach, that'll be my reverse prospecting using AI. Yes,
The open house is the day it goes live, right?
I try to make my listings go out.
That's what I do.
open house. Yeah, so I'll
Yeah,
do
let's see, when you do 2 weeks, and this is just me, like picking your brain, not, so I always do coming soon for 1 week, because I feel like it goes stale. Do you notice any of that?
I see a downward trend kind of on that Monday, so like we're like right here.
Yeah.
But then it picks up. So some people are writing offers this weekend and getting denied. So then they're prioritizing, so they already knew all of them. That's what I find was about right. This all can be shifted to depending on brand. Again, yeah. So if you're talking multi-million dollars, it would look a little different than this. I would probably take one. What do you think, Jim? I feel like you.
I'm a big fan of over 7 days. Coming soon. I've just seen analytics that show that it goes steady for that big boom, that active. So what I always do is, let's say it's going live on Saturday for open house. I do the same thing. You can't see any of you can't get a private show until the open house.
Yeah.
That's the first boom. A lot of times what I'll do for my listings, there's no showings the first weekend. It's only open house. And you get bombarded at those open houses.
Yeah.
And it also saves, if you go to a seller and say, hey, the first week, now obviously this doesn't work for every, but let's say it's a beautiful home, everything looks great. You go to Mr. and Mrs. Seller and say, look, you just give me 4 hours in the weekend, the first weekend it goes live. There's no other showings. And they're like, oh my God, that's awesome. 9 times out of 10, right now, the market we're in, might be a little different, but this year, everyone was under contract with no private showings.
Yeah, and it's
It was all open house.
open houses are so much easier.
Yeah.
You have everybody in at the same time, and it's less of a nuisance for the spot. And you as a listing agent, if you're hosting the everybody that came
Yep.
through.
So I always go coming soon on Monday, because then you're
Yeah.
getting all the people that missed out active on that Saturday or Friday night, depending on what we do.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
use 2 weeks because I try to mix up direct and.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to do it when you have a 2 week window if you're like actually door knocking. I think you're really gonna make people mad if you door knock on Monday and then also door knock on Wednesday.
I don't do it. So
Yeah,
but-
that's okay. Anybody have any questions about my timeline or anything I talked about? Try to make it short and sweet.
Will you be sending us the presentation?
Yeah. I'm late now. Okay, yeah.
Have you like looked at or broken down your time investment in this from soup to nuts? Like, in-house costs me 14 hours
Yeah.
of manpower.
So I usually loop it in as being on the listing side. I'll say 9.5 times out of 10, I'm hosting an open house for my own listing. And I find that being a listing agent, your cost like per hour is drastically higher than it is as a buyer's agent. So I'm okay with putting this time in, especially if it leads to 2 more transactions. I've done an open house 2 weeks ago and I had 4 buyers come in on it, and I'm showing 4 other buyers. Again, that might vary based on price point. This one was lower, it was under 300,000. So it's more likely that people are going to be getting represented. But yeah, I feel like it's worth it.
And really, like time wise, like everything that's on there, it's not a lot of time.
Yeah, it,
I can do a Facebook ad in like 30 seconds. It's so quick.
It's like templated.
It's all, if you do it through command, it's all like plug and play. Like, it's so easy.
and my team has a marketing director. So
Yeah.
it's not as much time as my
It's really.
And you can pay for direct mail through command too. I know we talked about it. It's actually really cheap in comparison to paying for like Postcard Mania. It's like 75 cents a postcard or like a mailer when postage is 60 something.
Now, from a lender standpoint, I got a question for you. Do you ever sit open houses with the agent?
Time.
Do you see like a benefit, like your angle as well? Or-
Yeah. Well, I like talking to people. So if I
Yeah.
get the opportunity to talk to somebody unrepresented, I'm probably gonna do business with them. So for me, it's good, just to be there. And I think also agents like to just, if there's somebody there with them,
Yeah.
right? Because it can be boring, depending on your house.
And
I-
a safety thing.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. And I also see price points. For me, for what I see, open houses seem to be very effective within certain ranges.
100%.
Once you get to a super high price point, less effective. Super low price point, less effective. Like that $300,000 slot. I mean, I've had situations where we had a listing in Chester County that was coming soon for 3 weeks, and I probably did. No, I'm not kidding. 25 estimates on that home for across 5 or 6 different buyers. And then that place had everybody in a frenzy because of the price point.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was by the time it went live, that open house that weekend had over 20 offers. It was listed at 300, it sold for 375, and it sold cash. That price point
Yeah.
seems to be perfect.
Yeah, like
for
3 to
open house.
4.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Especially in this area. I know that through like the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, they tell you to do 400. I think 350 to
Well,
400.
it's there.
Yeah, it's
Because
better.
the majority of the buyers right now are going to be first-time buyers, and they're buying this specific price point.
Well, PA goes up.
Yeah, and
For
these
sure.
these people that are looking at these much higher price listings, they don't want to move right now. They don't want to go from a $600,000 mortgage at 2% to a $600,000 mortgage or 700 at 7%.
And you got to think too, most likely in the higher price points, just from simple economics, they're represented.
I was just gonna say
Like
that.
if you're buying a $700,000 to $800,000 house, you have an agent. Like
Yeah,
let's
you're
be
not
real.
having great conversations there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Now for the listing side, it's a whole different.
Yeah, and I think as new agents, we made a mistake in the host of for the highest price listing at the brokerage, thinking that you'll get a buyer.
I've actually,
You can try.
believe it or not, I've actually had more closed business from the listing side of than the buyers.
And not to like promote myself, but you would be surprised at what a lender at your open house adds to the conversation for a lot of people that are coming through.
Oh, yeah.
The question we can answer to get them either like they make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can help them make a decision on the spot. And there's just some questions that come through that I know that, like for you guys, it's just questions you get that I can't answer.
Yep.
Things will boot your business. That's why I feel like it's more beneficial for the agent than it is sometimes for the seller. Seller will probably get an accepted offer too. The more people that you're showing your face to, you're talking to, once you get in the habit of doing it, it's so much easier, especially if you really turn it on. Like this is an interview. You should be putting your best foot forward. You shouldn't be getting there in 5 minutes before the open house and shuffling all your papers together when everybody's walking in. Like, that's a nightmare. It's making everybody feel anxious in the house already. But if you're there, you have a tasteful, like treats, snacks. Doesn't have to be a huge like butler to order to that. Like, yeah, so don't get it enough. But just something to show that you actually care. Dude.
You do one thing that I've seen, and I've tried it. It's not at a higher level. It's like when you're promoting it, anybody that shows up and signs in, they get entered in for like a small gift card.
Yeah.
It works. People love free shit.
Mhm.
Let's be real.
Especially with multiple like if you're between 10 and 12 on a Sunday, you're competing with a lot of other people. So how do you get people to come to your open house in comparison to the 2 other that might be in the same neighborhood?
Yep.
Directional signs. That's a great one. Big flyers out front.
Well, it's funny you say that with the multiple. I actually partnered with another agent from another brokerage, and we did 10 and 11 was one of them, 12 or 11 to 12. So that way we didn't interact or overlap, and it just brought more people in.
And I bet that was huge for the other agents that you were reaching out in a collaborative instead of a competitive way.
Somehow.
What's your follow-up strategy with buyer lead? Because
I'm pretty good with follow-up, and I'm from Philadelphia, by the way, I just moved close. But I find like a lot of them will sound interested and engage in good conversation, and then they kind of ghost you along the
So
way.
on your sign-in sheet, are you asking for feedback? Or you just wanting to
I'm
know
asking for feedback in the conversation,
and on your sign-in sheet, are you asking for phone numbers and emails or just particular?
both, and if they have an agent, and if they're
Yeah.
just browsing or that.
Similar to what I know. So I have right after. Let them know, thank you so much for attending the open house. Then I call. Let's say the open house is from 10 to 12. I'm texting them at 1 o'clock. Thanking them for. Then later that evening, I'm calling them, checking in to see how things went, how they felt about the house. Some people might say I have to chat with my lender to see if the numbers make sense. Other people are going to say not interested, or maybe they won't answer. But it's a touch point. And then I'm following up with an email if there's highest and best going out, checking back in. We have multiple offers. What do you think? And just putting them on a drip campaign.
Yeah, okay,
It doesn't have to be a lot.
yeah,
Like, I feel like when you start to get really scripted and very, like, just trying to be a realtor a little bit too much, people just unsubscribe or they say no or they don't respond. Hey, it's Caroline checking in from the open house at 123 Main Street. How do you feel about the house? Open-ended. All text should be open-ended. All emails should be open-ended. Doesn't have to be a hold up. Hey, it was so nice to meet you. I can't believe you came in. Nobody cares about that. Text and phone calls, people want them to be as short as possible, so just get straight to the point. You can put a bow on it however way you want to, but don't make it long.
I found video text messages have been a lot more effective
Yeah.
because if someone's shopping around or going around open houses all day, they're like, I don't know, it's like,
Yeah.
like, but then if you send a video, oh yeah, like we connected really well.
especially if you're following up, like, so then I'm responding,
Yep.
or do not remember you.
I just closed a deal that I met them at 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And they started using me, they called me like a year ago and said, we fired our agent. And would you be, I still have your card from 3 years ago.
Or even like if people look you up on social media, how many people ask you another? It's crazy.
Some people were saying they would look up other listings close by and
So it's just gonna
say, hey, do you want me to show this to you
Yeah.
right after the open house or something like
yeah, and
that?
that's really good if you have the feedback of this messes up for you.
Yeah.
What else is for looking in the area? So if they don't like this house, maybe there's something else that you can pull up on MLS that's better. And if you can get them in the next day or even the same day, if you can answer your phone as an agent, you're already setting yourself 10 steps ahead of others.
Yeah.
One thing I tried this year that's actually worked out really well is I'm not always the most pushiest to get someone to sign a sheet. It's just not the way I do it. I don't want to be that salesy guy. So the people that don't sign, what I have is I have some other marketing. One of them is check out the other listings in the area.
Yeah.
It's a QR code. And I allow it so they get 2 looks for free. They're not looking twice. They're like, oh, this is a great tool.
They're scrolling.
And then next thing you know, you're getting their info from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually get better info from that than I do the actual sign sheet. So you can do it through command. I do it off of my website through a different thing. I obviously have a paid website and everything, but command you can do it off of. Yeah. All you gotta do, honestly, is you just make a QR code for your website and it works out. But I'll mix it down to where it's like specifically, let's say, in Newark Charter School.
Yeah.
I'll specifically do the parameters and only have those listings, and I get a lot of great. I started doing that this year and really get a lot of great.
That's a good
If they're going through that, they're a lot more serious
Yeah.
too. Like when they start going through that. Yep.
So if you have a house that's super contemporary, I pull like on top of my seller's disclosure, I'll put things that are interesting in the area. If there's a house that's like given a cabiny feel, okay, there's hiking trails nearby. Tap into the person. I feel like that too along with answering your phone, takes you 10 steps ahead of other agents. Because then you're being a person and not just a sales.
I can't downplay the answering the phone. I
Say it,
hear it
please.
all the time.
Same thing. Vendors too, like
Every
you.
time you hear. And the best ability is availability. And if you don't answer your phone, it makes me want to blow my brains out.
I just had a lender, literally, I was on the listing side. And I was trying to get a hold of the lender for a question and no response all day. And then they started calling me at like 5:30 every day. And I don't answer my phone from 5 to 8. That's family time. Unless it's an emergency or we're writing an offer or we're going to see a house. So finally, like, and then so I'd reach out to them the next day. What it was I'm pretty sure they're working a full-time job now. And you can't like, and I told the buyer's agent, like, dude, I can't get a hold of this person during the day. And they're like, I know. They won't switch. They won't reach out to my like person. And it wasn't like it was a big name lender here in Delaware. So it wasn't like it was a small mom and pop place.
Yeah.
It was like,
I left them, if you can't answer the phone, send a text message and tell them when you're going to call.
yeah, 100%.
And that's totally.
That's what I do. If I can't answer, I'll say, hey, I'm in the middle of something. I'll call you back at 1 o'clock.
Valerie, favorite bird.
What are your hours for an open house? And what's your time frame? I mean, I know you're doing,
That's the like greatest question in the world, man. The one really.
I know you do the hour before for the neighbors and.
Yeah, so depends on what the seller needs and their accessibility. I've done twilight showings for a property that was listed at 4:25 because the only time they could be out of the house was from 6 to 8. I find the most is on Sundays. I feel like a couple years ago, people were coming to open houses on Saturdays and Sundays, but recently when I host them back to back, like 10 to 12 on each day, for example, more people come to the Sunday ones.
See, it's funny. I get Saturday.
I
It's so weird.
We're marketing opposite.
It's so weird. Obviously, Eagles game don't schedule a but I did one a Tuesday. So I did up in Malvern. I did I think 3 open houses total. The most I got was Tuesday night from 4 to 6.
Yeah.
And that was like 12. It wasn't like just like 1 or 2. It was like
How long did you host it?
What's that?
When did you host it?
On a Tuesday night.
Was it recent?
Yeah.
I was thinking, when does the sun go down? Because a lot of people don't come to open houses or don't see houses when the sun goes down. So,
Pitch black, and it's actually kind of cool because all the neighborhood Christmas lights are up, so it's actually kind of
Well,
cool.
that would be.
Yeah, so, but it, like Saturday, this one Saturday, we didn't get any, or no, Saturday we got some, but Sunday we didn't get a single one. And the Eagles weren't even on till like the night game that weekend. And like, it's so weird.
yeah.
I can't, that's like the unknown mystery of the world of the What's that? Well, yeah.
So you're 10 to 12. It
I
sounds
try
like.
to do 10, and if I'm doing 2 open houses in one weekend, I don't do the same slot. I'll usually do 10 to 12 and then maybe like 2. And then for my neighbors only, I do 9. So I'm there.
And that's on Sunday, on the 12th?
I do that on Saturday, so they can.
That's on Saturday.
wherever they-
Because I was thinking people go to church.
Yeah, so.
I think you fall into that. I think this
Your
time of
area-
year.
Weekends for me. Important, but, yeah, I let my neighbors see the.
I need to do that.
Hold on. Any other questions that I can answer? Feel like we had a really good conversation. Thank you guys for participating in this stuff.
Just for the record, I say it every time we discuss open houses. If anybody ever wants to do any open houses on my listings, just let me know.
Mine too. And if you're not a part of the KW Empower Facebook group, they're looking for people to host open houses constantly, not just in PA. Also in Delaware, we have tons of listings. If you pull it up on the MLS, you can see our listings for our office. You can host open houses for any of them. Just reach out to the listing agent. Maryland, same thing. And if you have trouble with that, let me know. I didn't put my contact information in this anywhere. So I'll write it over here.